Hi, everybody, and welcome to what I think is going to be a really fantastic, exciting, I'm excited, a night, the unveiling of the 33rd Rakow Commission by Rui Sasaki. Um, I, you guys really, you should, build your excitement because Rui's going to tell us about it. But after she tells us about her piece and her process and her background and the kinds of ideas that informed this sort of work, afterwards we're going to go upstairs into the gallery. The piece is installed in the 35 Centuries Gallery in our changing exhibition space. There'll be some dessert, and you can experience this piece in person, and I really hope that you like it. I do, and I am so I am so thankful and so excited. This is the kind of work that makes me just really burst at the seams about my job. It is exciting to get to go out into the world and see artwork like Rui's, who I had watched for some years and got to see a little bit more up close when she had a residency in 2016. And we started conversations around then about working on this piece. And to see it grow over a couple of years and to be able to bring something like this to you and to the audiences that will be here over the next several months is really incredible. So without further ado, oh wait, no, there's further ado, you guys. There's further ado, and here it is. This is the very first piece installed of our show that opens this May called New Glass Now. It's an incredible show, 100 works from around the world, from artists from 32 different nationalities, made in the last 3 years. And this one is, made right now, completed this week, and prepared for you. So you should see this, and if it excites you, and even if it doesn't, you guys, you don't know what the other 99 are, plan to come back in May, and then again and again and again, and tell your friends. Okay, with that, the one, the only, Rui Sasaki.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And thank you so much, Susie. She has been such a great curator to talk with me and so supportive, so patient. I'm really appreciated. And then, actually, this is my 5th time to come to the Corning. And I've been students, I've been teaching assistant, and I was doing an artist residence program at the studio. And then actually, I studied abroad in the United States 2007, and then actually, how I decided to come to the United States is because of Corning. So always Corning is in my heart, and always Corning is so supportive, and thank you so much for everything. And actually, I came from Kanazawa in Japan, and where you can see where is the Kanazawa and how I flew to the Corning Museum Glass. And this is Japanese map, and I live in Kanazawa right now, and I have been living in Hokuriku region for 6 years right now. You can see the map, where is the Hokuriku region. So Toyama is a big city of glass in Japan, and Kanazawa is just 1 hour away from Toyama. And the Hokuriku region is a special city in Japan, especially weather. It's rainiest cities in Japan. I'm talking more about the weather later. And also Kanazawa is a big city of craft. We have a few hundred years of craft culture in Kanazawa, and then build up all business and the culture in the life. Everything is based on craft. But actually glass is very new to Kanazawa. And this is where I live. Actually, I live in the top of the mountain. And this is my house and / studio. And sometimes I use my storage to make work ready for ship. And how I decide to interest about the glass is I'm interested about water all the time. I always want to swim. I always want to be under the water since I was childhood. And then I want to make something out of water, but actually water is liquids. So I never make anything out of it. So I decided to find some like material really similar to water that was glass. So I started interested about glass. And then if you're thinking about glass, the glass is transparent, but also it's a lot of characters of glass is there. But for me, glass is about the vehicle of preservation of recording as a residue. You can know what that means through my lecture. And this word is so important to me. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes. So I try to use all my 5 senses to explore my work all the time. And I studied abroad to Rhode Island School of Design 2007 to 2010. And that time I was feeling so weirdly, I'm here in the United States, but I'm not here physically. So I always feel ghost in the United States. I don't know, this is not about homesick, but this is like about like how I just felt in the United States. And I was comfortable to be in the United States, but at the same time, I always feel ghost all the time because like I don't have any memories to the object. I don't have any memory to the space. Maybe that was what it is. And I made this work 2009. This work is also like I'm start using the motion detector for the work. That's also like a motion detector is I'm using for Rakow Commission, the project upstairs. So this is my pretty much first work I'm using a motion detector. So the window you can see. So if you are in front of a window, the motion detector was on, and then you can see the light zones in the window, and you can see the mirror, but actually you never seen your face on the mirror. You can just see the double-sided reflection on the mirror. So that's I kind of felt when I was in the United States. I'm here, but not here. So I'm start thinking about what is the absence and the presence, and what is the familiarity of the space, unfamiliarity, and unknown, and known, and renown. So all my work is about exploration of discovery of subtle intimacy in extremely unfamiliar and familiar spaces. And I'm exploring my work, interplay between my body and surroundings. That's like a whole my theme of the work, why I'm like making my work. So 2007, I feel so sick about being outside of Japan. It's not about homesick again, but I just felt like so empty. So I asked my mom to send me dust from Japan, and I put dust on the sheet of glass, and I made a dust record, and this is dust jacket for the dust record. And then also I want to touch everywhere in the space and make sure everything's fine and everything I know, but I just realized that the corner I never can touch. So I have little empty, unoccupied space between my body and the corner. So I decided to make some glass casting piece with between my body and the corner. So this is the work I cast the glass cast in the unoccupied space between my body and the corner. So what you see as a glass casting piece is actually what I can't occupied between with my body, and I cannot touch the corner. So this is my elbow. And then I was really like wondering about how I can make my like a fit container or like some nest. So that times like I was really intriguing about the 3D printer with glass. So but 3D printer is so expensive to use, so I decided to make like a kind of analog version with a 3D printer to make my nest surrounding my body. So I was just like using molten glass to turning and then making like the space for me to make a container. So this is detail. And then I went back to Japan 2012 in the winter, and that time I got the reverse culture shock. Of course, Japan is my mother country, so I must feel comfortable, but actually like really uncomfortable to be there. I'm still struggling about how I can fit in the Japanese culture and how I can fit in Japanese society. That's my old struggle right now I have in Japan. So the same feeling, I'm here in Japan, but I'm not here. So I'm start thinking about how I lost my intimacy towards my home country, and what is about intimacy, how I can build the intimacy about. So I start thinking about it. So again, like I want to use all five senses to make sure that I know everything and I can explore what is my intimacies in Japan. So I start collecting the plants. When I was childhood, I'm always been in nature, and also like I played with plants all the time. So this is a kind of my meditation to remember who I am and who I was in Japan. Because when you're collecting a plant, you have to touch the plant, you have to smell the plant, and sometimes you can eat the plants, and then also you can hear the sound of plants. So you have to use all five senses. So this is such a good example of the process. I can use all five senses. So after I collect the plants, I put it between sheet glass and put in the kiln and fire, and all plants turns to the ash. And then I made my meditation room. So this is like such a small room, maybe like 3 meters by 3 meters. And the people actually can come in to see and meditate. So what you can see, like white graphic, is actually about the residue of plants after firing. And this is the details. And you can see all bubbles, and the bubbles coming from the plants. And I'm not really interested about just only plants residue, but I'm really interested about how I can preserve the air of the land and also the moisture of the land as a memory. So I'm using the glass as a preservation of as a residue. And I have a chance to come here being an artist, residence artist 2016 at the Corning Museum Glass, the studio. And then also I made this project. I brought Japanese plant to here to make the new project. And this is exhibition shot. And this is detail. And this is detail again. And then after I started making the plant project, I started thinking about weather in Hokuriku region. The weather in the Hokuriku region is such unstable. It's always rainy, always cloudy, and sometimes sunny. Like we never have any same like weather, like a sunny day, whole day, like always like constantly change. And also we have a lot of problem about the winter depression. So I realized that how weather affect to the body and also mentally. So I'm start interested about the weather. And again, like that is like where the Hokuriku region is. And I was born in Shikoku, which is Kochi Prefecture, southern part of Japan. And also I grew up in suburb of Tokyo, Ibaraki Prefecture. The both of prefecture are like always I can see blue sky and then can see the rain, but not many like cloudy day. So when I moved to Hokuriku region, I got really shocked at how much we have gray sky every day and rainy every day. So if you see these numbers, if you can see the like how many days we have clear day, like completely like a sunny day a year, is Toyama Prefecture just 12 days a year, and then Ishikawa Prefecture, which is like Kanazawa City belongs to, it's just only 11 years out of like 365 days. So that's how much we have cloudy days. And then also, if you can see the sunshine hours for 10 days, like we just only have like 6.5 hours. And where I grew up is like 57.9 hours, which is like completely different. And then also we have a lot of rainy days, also thunder days. So it's just like weather was so bad and so unstable where I live. And also this is the word to represent where I live right now. So even like you forget your lunchbox, just don't forget umbrella. And then also sora ni mitsuroka is a good word of express about unstable weather in Japanese word. And then this is January 2nd, 2019. on the right side of the images, it's like my hometown, suburb of Tokyo. And then when I went back to Kanazawa, the cloudy days, so that's how much different sky is between where I grew up and where I live right now. And this is Toyama Prefecture, always like cloudy. And in the winter, we have like very like dark days. Like this is just like only 2 or 3 p.m. and it's already like dark. And we have tons of snow in Kanazawa last year. My car was broken because of snow. It's very heavy that time. And sometimes we get a little sun. Even like this like subtle sunshine is really precious for me, and everybody's so happy about it. And then sometimes it's like blue sky. And also it's blue sky, but still have a like really thick layer of like clouds. And sometimes we have like a little sunshine hit on the roof. It's beautiful. And then there are so many like rainy days and cloudy days, but sometimes like rainy day and cloudy days makes sky so beautiful colors. And of course, we can see a lot of rainbows. I never seen so many rainbows in my life before I moved to Hokuriku region. And I'm start thinking about how precious sunshine is to me. I never have any winter depression, but a lot of my friends and my students has a problem about the winter depression, and sometimes people leave from Hokuriku region because of the weather. People can't stand it, such a unstable and bad weather. So I start thinking about like how I can visualize sunshine more, even like cloudy day, and how I can preserve the sunshine. And also, maybe I can contain the sunshine to move to somewhere from here, and also how I can express my appreciation for Saturday sunshine in such a like unstable weather here. And then I was thinking about glass. I'm using glass about like this, so it's a perfect material for me to explore this concept. But at that time, like I don't know how I can preserve the sunshine with glass. And then I was looking for like what is the appropriate material for explore my idea. And I found phosphorescent crystal mixture material by accident. And then that time I didn't know what does it mean about phosphorescent. And then I was contacted with like one of the company's engineer, and he explained about phosphorescent crystal mixture can absorb UV lights, the specific light waves, like a light wavelength light, so such as like sunshine, and then absorb and charge and emit this light in the dark room. So this is a perfect material. Okay, like I can like see the residue of sunshine. Like if I put this material outside of our room, and then I can see how much sunshine I have after the day. And the phosphorescent crystal mixture is used for industrial use before. Now it's really popular to use for the art. But before like 2013, no a lot of people using phosphorescent crystal mixture for the art. And the people actually mixing with concrete or asphalt to make street and save energy. So this happened a lot in Scandinavian countries to save energies. And this is one of the example. And I used a specific phosphorescent crystal mixture made in China. There is like so many different kind of phosphorescent crystal mixture in the world right now, but this company's phosphorescent glass is really special to me. They can absorb like subtle like a light difference. So and then also last really long. So even like a little bit cloudy day, and I can see a little bit sunshine, but they can absorb different light, and they show me like obvious difference. So it really works well. But this glass is not made for art, so I have to test a lot of experimentals to make sure that I can make the work not to break. So there is like a powder, so I experiment. And actually powder is not working well. It's like broken after 1 week, after I anneal the glass. And I use the frit. But if you put too much frit, it breaks. So I have to thinking about how much frit I can put in the glass. And also like a little bit coarse frit I can use. So it's like phosphorescent crystal mixture is like, I'm no chemist and I'm no engineer, so I don't know how to make this ingredient, but actually I need to explore how I can use this material for my artwork. So I made like a just different shape of the glass with phosphorescent crystal mixture, like thin and thick, and tubes and solid and rondelles and some spheres and some different shapes to make make sure like how I can use. So this is like one of like example of how I explore my materials. And then actually the company people, engineer people came to see me, like what I'm doing, because he was really supportive to me, and he offers me a lot of samples, different samples, like to fit on my work. And then he was really interested about how I'm like actually using these materials towards artwork, not for industrial use. So we are like experiments a lot about the work, and he actually like talking with chemists on the phone in China. Also, since like I'm not chemist and engineer, I have no idea what it's about, the glass material is. So his name is Mr. Kawaguchi. He used to be the engineer of Asahi Glass Company, and he helped me so much to understand what material is. And also he's like helping me right now a lot. And then also phosphorescent glass is so expensive, so I can't afford by myself. So I'm getting foundation, and I got foundation to buy the all like phosphorescent crystal mixture to make all samples. And this is pretty much my first trial to make my actual work, finish the work. So this called holding sunshine. I make like big spheres and I put outside of rooms, and then people can just like bring back to the sphere inside of a room, and people can observe what is the weather today is. And I made like tablewares with phosphorescent glass crystal mixture. And actually tableware is like for feed the drinks and the food. But for me, it's like I'm kind of feeding the today's weather, sunshine. So I put all like tableware outside and bring back to inside of exhibition space. And actually people enjoyed how much sunshine they can see through this work and play around and to feel the appreciation of today's weather. And also I made weather chandeliers. So I put chandelier, I hung inside of a bird watching house. And actually people go upstairs and go inside the room and see this work. And actually this chandelier is to connect it to solar panels. So if the cloudy day, solar panels never make any energy. So chandelier never lit. So that means phosphorescent glass is never glowing dark. So depending on whether how brightness viewer can see. And I really want to make some site-specific work for the crystal mixture. So when I was doing artist residency program in Norway, I'm allowed to put sphere made with phosphorescent crystal mixture on the top of the chimney. So it's still there, and then people can see in the sunset, the phosphorescent glass globe is start growing dark, so people can appreciate today's weather. Also, like Norway has really unstable weather and always like cloudy, always gray sky. So I won't share my appreciation of sunshine in Scandinavia as well. And then this project called Liquid Sunshine, it's the same name of my Rakow Commission work. So this is like one of the first version of my work, Liquid Sunshine, I made in Norway. But that time I was making really thin sphere to make this work. It looks like this, and this is more details. And after I make a lot of completed work, I still don't know what this phosphorescent crystal mixture was. So I have traveled around the world 2016 April to 2017 March to just go different country to see how I can work with phosphorescent crystal mixture, and also at the same time, like how people can perceive the weather, especially in the Scandinavian countries. We make the glass batches in Japan, just only one company. So what kind of furnace glass is fit on phosphorescent glasses? I just only have one choice. But if I go to different countries makes different glass. So I can try different glass with phosphorescent glass. That's also one reason I just travel around to see how I can work with phosphorescent glass. But also, if you go different country, there's different situation. So when I was in Norway, like one gallery has halogen lights, but this halogen lights, like wavelength is different from Japan. So I noticed that phosphorescent glass never charged with halogen light in Norway. So that times I noticed how important to know about highest point of exciting wavelengths of like a phosphorescent glass mixture. So if I have to choose the like appropriate light resources for phosphorescent glass, I always have to know about what is the exciting point of wavelengths. So I was just like testing like a whole bunch of different lights to see how much like phosphorescent glass can charge. And the best light resources was radium light used for tanning machine, but also it's a lot of problem about fire hazard. So it's just like a lot of learning, even like no material itself, also light resource is so important to make phosphorescent glass mixture work. Also, when I was at Corning Museum of Glass Studio 2016 as an artist residence artist, I have time to explore my work with phosphorescent glass mixture for 5 days. So I know phosphorescent glass mixture never melt in the furnace working temperature or charging temperature, but I put phosphorescent powder in the pot and just like hold the temperature overnight. And then just wondering how it goes. And actually the glass is not gonna be like phosphorescent glass anymore, but they glow in dark under just only UV, no phosphorescent anymore. But it changed the color, like it was green color, but become like pinkish color. I don't know why, but also this is one of the example I'm kind of exploring the material. And then I worked with plants. And also I mixed with powder with different kind of glass and hot casting, and just see like what kind of texture I can get. And also different color of glass I tried. And I tried to pour canes, but actually the phosphorescent glass is so hard and it never melts. So actually I couldn't put any like phosphorescent crystal mixture cane that time. And I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison to do the demonstration lecture. And I had a workshop with students, and we tried borosilicate glass. And also we tried neon work. And still like I'm working on it with neon with phosphorescent crystal mixture for next my project. And then when I went to Sweden, we tried plasma. And also I had a chance to visit research center in Sweden named Grafo. So they are making phosphorescent glass and they are researching about it. So I talked with scientists what is material is about and how I can go further. Like besides exploring and wondering about the material, also I'm really wondering about the culture, how Scandinavian people dealing with the bad weather and the rainy weather and also unstable weather. And that time I found the name, like a word of Pluviophile. That's a part of my title in Rakow Commission work. people thinking about rainy day or cloudy days really negatively, but actually Pluviophile, this word is really positive way of thinking about rain, and I really like about it. And I want to be the person Pluviophile to appreciate the weather of Hokuriku region. And I went back to Japan after I traveled around a year. I'm looking at the rain again. To thinking about sunshine is also thinking about rain and cloudy days as well. So I was thinking about too much about sunshine, so I'm start thinking about rain as the opposite way. This is some picture from just nearby my house. And we get a lot of rain. It's really heavy rain in June, like it's every day like this. And in general, in Japan, we talk about a lot of weather. When you say like good morning, and after that we are always talking about weather. Today's weather is sunny, and it's gonna be cloudy after 1 hour. We talk about it a lot. And then also like our life is very close to the nature, and then we live in such a like high humid country. So in the tatami floor, it's controlling like humidities, and also we have clear like 4 different seasons. So the natural light is coming through the room is totally different. So we use the rice paper as a shoji screen to control the light. Also, as you know, like in Japan, like our main food is rice. And then also we are based on agriculture country, so we always care about the weather. And also for the rice, water is so important, so we always care about the rain too. And if I'm looking at a few hundred years ago wood prints, that's how like artists express the rain, just like lines, and then when we see the actual rain, we don't see the line as a rain, but that's how they express. So I'm starting thinking about how I can express about rain as a visually. So this is another example. Also, we have a lot of words of rain, even like sounds of rain. This is just only like a few examples, like a strong rain or weak rain, but also the different season we call different rains name and sounds of rain. And sometimes like we name the rain because of we see the color through the rain. Also we smell the rain, and sometimes we can taste like sweets. So one of like rain name is actually sweet rain because we taste it. And sometimes like we call the rain because of the plants. So some like rain's name is actually like cherry blossom rain or something. So this is also like just little example. I think we have like a few hundred words of rain. That's how much actually we categorize rain and how we perceive the rain in Japan. And this is probable idioms of rain. This is just like 1 page of the book. That's how much we have the idiom, the proverb of rain. And this is like books about dictionary, just name of the rain. And this is a book about the relationship between rain and the Japanese people. And then some book tell the story about how the rain is related to the regions. And this is my really first draft about Rakow Commission work, how I can think and how I can want to install work. And this is my research. I always thinking about not just for the drawing, but also like I'm thinking about the words too. Because also words helps me to organize my brain to make my work. And besides like thinking about work visually, also I'm always explore and experiments about the material itself. Since I can't make any phosphorescent crystal mixture, I have to rely on engineer or chemist make this material. So I just always have to contact with the engineer, what they are making right now and what kind of material I can get and how I can express my idea through the material. And this is the just map how I can build the installation work. And then also besides the glass or phosphorescent crystal mixture, I need like proper wires to hang my material because I don't really want to show the wire to hang from the ceiling visibly. So I just like, like research about bunch of different wires in Japanese company. And this is almost final version of my draft for my work for Rakow Commission. Like we didn't use any Australian light, and we use a UV spectrum light instead. And this is actually phosphorescent crystal mixture frit I'm used. So this is a hot shop, and you can see the little process how I made. So actually, like I cannot make any work without assistant. I'm really feel thankful for my assistant. She's really helpful, and she made with me this like raindrops, almost like 350 drops with me for 5 months together. And then we made really long raindrops, as you can see. But since the phosphorescent glass mixture is really sensitive material with glass, so we need to have really like good thickness. And also if I put frit one spot, it starts cracking. So we make really long work, and then we just cut half to use the grained amount of frit in glass. And put in annealer and anneal. And then thinking about frit, like you can see all dots of frit growing dark. And I was wondering about how I can use this like dots for my work, because phosphorescent glass is never melt with like the furnace glass. So I always can see the dot, but when I see the raindrops on the window, that reminds me the shape of the frit. So this is like how, this is just like my idea photos, that how I kind of explore my work with material. So I care about the shape of the raindrops, and then also how I can use the frit of dot. And if the dot, like a frit of dot is layers, how we can see is like, this is just like my idea photos to think about in my brain. And after the glass is annealed, I have to cold work and then dry out in front of furnace overnight in a hot shop. And then cleaning up very well, and then making a hole for hanging. And they put the protector, like little like plastic tubes in the hole to not to break the glass piece. And after all, like I have to find a good big place to hang my work. And I was like looking at all over the place in Kanazawa where I can rent as a studio space as a temporary. And one of the studio called Kanazawa Makiyama Glass Workshop has such a great space to let me use. So this is a rental studio, but this rental studio used to be the elementary school, and they renovated and they make a glass shop. So they have some like gymnastic arena left. This is like maybe like 50 or 60 years ago gymnastic arena, and they let me use it. And there is a lot of beams, so I decided to hang the ceiling to make my work samples for installation for here. But we are not really sure about structure because people never hang anything from the beams. So we make sure the strength of the beam is good, because one of the drop is almost like 700 grams to 1.2 kilograms. So if I hang 250 raindrops shape of my work, it's gonna be like almost like 300 kilograms. So I don't wanna break any of my work. So this is really important. It looks like funny, but it's really important process for me. And then start making the hanging ceiling. And then after I make the hanging ceiling with my assistant, I start hanging where to go with my raindrops of glass. And then after I'm done for hanging everything, I have to pack everything so well. And the 250, almost like 250 raindrops shape of glass, like packing is also like a lot of work to do. And I have to put everything in my car and bring back to my home to store for a while. And after that, I need to make a template where the raindrops to go for the installation for here. So I marked everything like this, and putting tracing paper, and I traced it. It made a template. and then made a more like nice draft of template. So you can see all mark and which numbers raindrops goes to where. And they're ready to ship. And the art shipping company came to Kanazawa, and they packed, and actually they took like almost 12 hours to pack everything to let go. And they're putting everything in a truck. And it's go to Tokyo and come to Konin. And this is my final work. Actually, this work is a little bit different from upstairs because this picture is took in Japan, but it's almost same. So this work is actually, the OBR is actually part of this work. Like how much brightness you can see is how long you're gonna be there. And then also there is a motion detector. So if a lot of viewers coming out and in, glass is never charged, so maybe you never see any brightness of the glass in the exhibition space. But non-busy days, not a lot of people coming in, so the glass is charged very well, so you can see the bright. And if you stay there more than 5 minutes or like 10 minutes, like the brightness is getting fade out, so you can see the all different level of darkness of this work. And then also, if you stay there, your brain's adjusted in dark. So actually you see the color of the phosphorescent crystal mixture is differently. Once you be there, like maybe you can see a little greenish color, but if you stay longer, it turns blue. And then also you can see the glass is more transparent if you stay longer. And also you can see the reflections on the floor, but once the glass is getting fade out, you cannot see any reflection anymore on the floor. So you can see all the time is different situation with this work. So actually you are the weather, and you never seen any same brightness and the color of the residue of light. Because how long you're gonna be there, and how long the previous people be there, and also how many people is coming in and out this work, it also makes everything different. So whenever you come and how many times you come to see the work, you always see the difference. And then also I hope when you see this work, and then when you see the outside is like cloudy day or rainy days, but you see the little like sunshine, and also you see the subtle intimacy or appreciation towards natural light. That's I hope like you enjoy my work upstairs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rui.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for being such a great audience. Doesn't seem like I should have a good joke to go after, and I don't. But what I do have is first look at this piece in person upstairs in the galleries. So I'd like to invite you to hold all the questions that you have, to talk about them upstairs while we have a little dessert and look at the piece. So if you don't know where it is, up the escalators, up the stairs, and that way. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, that was so great. Thank you.
Was it okay? Like I was perfect. I think it's perfect.